During the process of renovating the burial of St. Jude Wigga, the Polish craftsmen who were working on the project uncovered a different stone. They lifted it so that they might investigate what was beneath it. Hello viewers, in this video, we will talk about an astonishing discovery made by Polish workers. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Let's get started. The construction of the Basilica of St. Jude Wigga in Trzewnica, which is situated in the southwest region of Poland, started in March 2020. The most senior members of the church were anxious that a slight crack in a stone tomb might spread, which is why they gave the go-ahead for the most recent repair. The attempts made to fix things throughout the course of many years invariably resulted in a few outcomes that were unanticipated. The mayor of Trzewnica, Marek Bugazima, stated that he had seen a significant number of them. Due to the fact that burial vaults dating back to the 17th century that contained Cistercian nuns and clergy were found during the restoration of the basilica, it is possible that the project was a success earlier than March 2020. Then, another discovery was uncovered that may be even more significant than the one before it. The discovery was significant for history as well as religion, notably in relation to Trzewnica. The history of Poland is really interesting, and UC Trzewnica is a great place to learn about it. Lower Silesia, an area that has been ruled by several different kingdoms throughout history, is where the town may be found. Hedwig was a descendant of the pious family of the Silesian dynasty. Because of his beard, everyone recognized him. For the record, Hedwig was ultimately elevated to the status of St. Jude Wigga after her death. In the course of his hunting expedition, Duke Henry came across a marsh and made the executive decision to construct an abbey there. If he were to be spared, he would build the sanctuary by himself if given the chance. The piety of Hedwig's family could be traced back to the fact that several of Hedwig's brothers had served as bishops. Hedwig eventually became the most spiritually committed member of the group. In the year 1201, at the age of 12 years old, she tied the knot with Henry, the Duke of Silesia. Henry was placed in solitary confinement by Duke Conrad, who governed Moravia at the time. Hedwig asked for Henry to be let go so that she could prove how committed she was to the cause. She was successful, and 2 years later, Conrad ended Henry's employment after he had been there for 2 years. Henry was promoted to the post of Duke of Greater Poland and High Duke of Krakow the next year after he had received that honor. Henry was the first member of his line to establish his power over Silesia and Krakow. Hedwig's heart was ultimately crushed, despite the fact that she had devoted her entire life to pursuing the values that were important to her. She and Henry gave birth to a great number of daughters, but they only had one son who made it to adulthood. King Henry I, the Pious, was killed in 1241 when the Mongols conquered Poland. His death occurred during this time. It was fascinating to hear that when Hedwig saw the body of her son on the battlefield, she wasn't astonished because she'd seen a vision prior to the war, probably to commemorate the occasion of his passing. This was a fact that made the story of Hedwig's reaction to the discovery of her son's body much more intriguing. In the vicinity of Legnicki Pole, which was the battleground where Henry II was killed, Hedwig and her daughter-in-law Anna of Bohemia founded a Benedictine abbey. Anna of Bohemia was married to King Henry II. After the death of Henry II, Poland fell under the control of a number of different families, putting an end to any thoughts of the kingdom being reunited. After Hedwig passed away in 1243, the Trzewnica convent quickly rose to prominence as a place of choice for pilgrims. Her funeral became famous due to the miraculous events that took place during it. The town of Trzewnica, the place where she was born and nurtured, is the one that the Roman calendar recognizes as her place of honor. The 16th of October is the day that we celebrate Hedwig's feast day. Trzewnica Abbey is where both she and her husband's remains can be found today. The relics of her abbey became dispersed over the course of time and were eventually lost. The fact that the stone tomb in question was removed after the saint's death allows us to deduce that this specific piece of craftsmanship was created in the 1680s. In any event, as the conservators started their work, they saw that one of the slabs provided a visually significant contrast to the others in the group. This was something that stood out to them immediately. They were taken aback by it more and more as they investigated it further. After lifting the slab, we found that a cavity beneath it had been stuffed with charcoal that had been combined with plaster. This was the first bit of information that was shared. Because we found this to be somewhat peculiar, we chose to look into this matter further. After that, the workmen started chipping away at the black plaster mix with their tools, but they had no idea that every inch that they dug would bring them closer to an incredible discovery. They were completely oblivious to the fact that each millimeter of soil they removed brought them that much closer to an incredible discovery. On the other hand, the coat of arms of the priest might have given the erroneous impression, considering that the coffin did not contain the priest's bones, but rather a lead plaque was found nearby. The contents of the box were fully emptied out. According to the Latin text that was inscribed on the plaque, the remains of Saint Hedwig of Elijah have been preserved in the silver casket since the latter half of the 17th century. This information was gleaned from reading the inscription. After a number of years and decades had passed, the wig of St. Jude was eventually located in Trebnica. It has been around 340 years since the bones of St. Hedwig were deposited in the silver casket and buried in the tomb. Nevertheless, nobody was aware of where they were located at the present time. That's it for today. What do you think about this incredible discovery? Let us know in the comments section. Please like and share our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates.